Today I'm going to be sharing the 4 key things that I look for in a journal when I am getting ready to choose a new one. So let's get started. So the first thing is going to be the size of the journal. I personally prefer to have a medium to large size journal. This is the one that I'm currently using right now. I would call this a more medium sized journal. It kind of has the size of like a medium book, I would say. And this journal here, this is the one that I had before, or this is the one that I finished before I started this one here. This I would definitely call a large size journal. So I would say that for my personal journal, I want it to be either a medium or a large size. And the reason why I'm emphasizing personal journal is because I shared in a video, I forgot what day that video went up, but I shared a video where I showed the 3 journals that I use and how I use them. I mean, obviously, like, I didn't show any of like the journal entries except for like my book journal that I shared in that video. But basically, when it comes to my personal journal, I want the medium or large size journals. When it comes to like my prayer journal or my book journal, that one's a little bit different. Like, I'll when I go to pick a new journal for those things, I'll decide at that point. But for personal journals, I want it to be either a medium or a large size. And the reason why I prefer sometimes a more of a medium sized journal is this is my journal case. I've had this for a few years now, and I do think that this is like a Bible study case. But I like to put my journal in here. And this fits perfectly in here. Now, does the large size journal fit in here? No, but that's okay. But still, like, I like to keep, if I can, my private journal, but the other journals that I use fit in here also. So that's like a contributing factor to the size. All right, so the second thing I look for in a journal is the paper. It has to be lined. As you can see, this journal has lined paper, and the journal that I used prior to this, the other one, also has lined paper. And I actually used to never care about lined paper. Like, one of the journals, like, this is a journal that I used a couple of years ago. I actually have a handful of journals that are like this, but there's no, as you can see, there's no lines to the paper here, which at that time was perfectly fine for me, because I'll get into the other factor in a second here. But I have found that when I'm writing on paper that does not have lines, I find that I tend to write on an angle. So for me personally, I want to have a journal that has lines in it, because I feel like that just helps me keep my handwriting, or just my writing in general, a little bit neater and cleaner, in my opinion. So the third thing I look for in a journal is the thickness. As you can tell, I am almost done with this journal, so I am going to have to get a new one here soon, and I am thinking I'm going to go with this one again. I actually got this one off Amazon, and this one I believe is still available, so I think I'm going to go ahead and choose this. But of course, you know, I do have some time, so I might do a little bit more of like, you know, searching and on that and see what else I can find. But I am leaning more toward this one again. I love this one, but I tend to go back and forth a lot. But anyway, so it has to have a thickness to it. My personal journal, it has to be thicker like this, where with my prayer journal or my book journal, that doesn't bother me. But because I write in this one literally every single day, sometimes I write less, sometimes I write more. I do want to have a thicker journal, because I personally, and this is just my personal opinion, everyone is different here, I personally don't want to, how do I phrase this? I personally don't want to keep buying a new journal every couple of months or every couple of weeks if the journal is on the thinner side, because I like having this journal last me. I don't know how long a journal lasts me, to be honest. I probably should try to figure that out. But I like having a thicker journal because I find that it lasts me longer. And that's just a personal opinion. Some people may not care about that, but that to me, I do want to have a thicker journal as my personal journal. So that's number 3. And the fourth key factor that I look for in a journal is just the overall appearance of it. I personally I find that I tend to lean more toward floral, or vintage. Like these journals have a vintage feel. This one also does have lined paper, as you can tell. But I love a vintage journal. I actually started using these like leather vintage journals for the first couple of years that I was journaling, and then I kind of like switched into the other type of ones. But this to me reminds me so much of like Celtic. If you've seen the movie Brave with like the Disney Pixar movie Brave, Merida. Merida is my favorite Disney princess. I love things that have a vintage feel to them. I don't know why, but I love that. So I tend to lean between vintage or floral. And of course, pink. I actually had hold on, let me get it. This one is a pink leather journal. This one is also lined, and I loved the fact that this one opened like an envelope. I actually think that these two are the same size. Just about. Who knows? I actually may try to see if I can find this one again. Anyway, so that's just personally what I look for in a journal. I know that that sounds kind of picky, but everyone is different. I know there are a lot of people that like to journal on like iPads or tablets, things like that, and absolutely no judgment whatsoever. Everyone do what they feel is best. I personally like to write with a pen and a paper, or pencil and paper, whatever I prefer to use. With journaling, I tend to use pen. But these are just the things that I tend to look for in a journal. Like I said, I am getting close to where I'm going to have to start getting a new one. So now I'm debating, do I want to look for this or do I want to try to get this again? I don't really know. But yeah, this one, it's not as thick as the Daisy one, but I still really liked it. So who knows? Like I said, I may go for this one, but I haven't decided yet. Anyway, those are the 4 things that I look for in a journal, and I hope that this video was enjoyable to watch.